This is Augustus, first Roman emperor who transformed the Roman Republic into a powerful empire. Known by many names like Octavian, Gaius Julius Caesar, and the Divine Augustus, he was a master politician and a formidable military leader. Did you know he found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble? He also established the Pax Romana, a remarkable period of peace that lasted over 200 years. Stay tuned to discover more fascinating facts about his life and legacy. Octavian Augustus was born on September 23, 63 BCE in Rome. He was the great-nephew and adopted son of Julius Caesar, which positioned him as Caesar's political heir. His father, Gaius Octavius, was a senator and governor who died when his son was just 4 years old. His mother, Atia, was the niece of Julius Caesar. His early life was marked by the political turmoil of the late Roman Republic, an environment that would significantly influence his later career. Octavian received an education befitting a young Roman of his status, focusing on rhetoric, philosophy, and military training. He studied in Apollonia, modern-day Albania, where he gained first-hand experience in military command and diplomacy. His education underlined the Roman values of discipline, loyalty, and leadership, preparing him for the challenges ahead. The pivotal moment in his life came with the assassination of Julius Caesar on March 15, 44 BCE. At the time, he was in Apollonia, an ancient city located in present-day Albania, completing his studies. Upon hearing the news, he immediately returned to Rome, where he discovered that Caesar had posthumously adopted him in his will, naming him as his primary heir. This unexpected turn of events thrust the young Octavian into the complex and dangerous world of Roman politics. Upon his return to Rome, Augustus faced immediate opposition from Mark Antony, one of Caesar's most trusted generals, and from elements within the Senate. Antony, who was already a powerful and influential figure, saw himself as the natural successor to Caesar and was unwilling to share power with the young and inexperienced Octavian. The Senate, wary of both men, initially sought to use this rivalry to its advantage. In this politically charged environment, he demonstrated a remarkable aptitude for strategic maneuvering. Recognizing that he could not match Antony's military prowess or political experience, Octavian sought to bolster his position by aligning himself with key figures in Rome. He secured the support of the Senate and Cicero, one of Rome's most influential orators, by positioning himself as a defender of the Republic against Antony's perceived ambition. Through a combination of political maneuvering and military force, Augustus formed the Second Triumvirate with Antony and Lepidus in 43 BCE. A triumvirate was a political alliance of three powerful individuals. The first triumvirate, composed of Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus, had already demonstrated the potential of such an arrangement to dominate Roman politics. The second triumvirate was legally established through the Lex Titia, a law passed by the Senate that granted extraordinary powers to Octavian, Antony, and Lepidus for a period of 5 years. This alliance allowed them to defeat the assassins of Caesar, notably Brutus and Cassius, at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BCE. With the death of Caesar's assassins, the triumvirs were able to consolidate their power. However, the alliance between Octavian, Antony, and Lepidus was always a marriage of convenience rather than a genuine partnership, and it was fraught with tension and mutual distrust from the outset. The initial division of power among the triumvirs allocated control of different parts of the Roman territories to each leader. Antony took control of the eastern provinces, including Egypt, where he became romantically involved with Cleopatra. Lepidus was given control of Africa, while Octavian was left with the western provinces, including Italy, which was the heart of Roman political life. As time passed, the fragile unity of the Second Triumvirate began to unravel. Lepidus, who was the weakest of the three, was the first to be marginalized. After an ill-fated attempt to challenge his authority in Sicily, Lepidus was stripped of his powers and sent into exile, effectively removing him from the political landscape. The rivalry between Octavian Augustus and Antony soon became the central conflict. Antony's relationship with Cleopatra, the powerful and charismatic Queen of Egypt, provided Octavian with the perfect propaganda tool. He painted Antony as a traitor who had abandoned his Roman heritage and succumbed to the decadent and foreign influence of Cleopatra. This portrayal was designed to inflame Roman public opinion against Antony and position Octavian as the true defender of Rome's traditions and values. The final showdown between him and Antony culminated in the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. This decisive naval battle saw Octavian's forces, under the command of his trusted general Agrippa, defeat the combined fleets of Antony and Cleopatra. The defeat at Actium marked the end of Antony and Cleopatra's power. Both fled to Egypt, where they ultimately committed suicide as his forces closed in on them. With the deaths of Antony and Cleopatra, Augustus was left as the unchallenged master of the Roman world. In 27 BCE, he formally restored the outward appearance of the Roman Republic by relinquishing his extraordinary powers to the Senate and people of Rome. However, this gesture was largely symbolic. In recognition of his achievements and his role in restoring stability to Rome, the Senate granted him the title of Augustus, meaning the revered one. This marked the beginning of his reign as the first Roman emperor. After gaining the power, he quickly implemented a series of comprehensive administrative reforms that significantly stabilized the Roman government and laid the foundation for the long period of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana. His reforms were wide-ranging, covering various aspects of governance, the military, and taxation, and they were instrumental in transforming Rome from a republic beset by civil strife into a stable and enduring empire. One of Augustus's most impactful reforms was the reorganization of the military. Recognizing the need for a reliable and professional army, he established a standing army with fixed terms of service. Prior to this, the Roman military was largely composed of temporary levies called up in times of war. Octavian created a professional standing army consisting of 28 legions, each with about 5,000 soldiers, who served for fixed terms of 16 to 20 years. This reform not only ensured a permanent and ready military force, but also helped in maintaining discipline and loyalty within the ranks. In addition to the regular legions, Augustus established the Praetorian Guard, an elite unit tasked with protecting the emperor and his family. The Praetorian Guard was stationed in Rome and nearby towns and had a unique status, receiving higher pay and shorter terms of service compared to the regular army. This elite force played a crucial role in maintaining the security of the emperor and the stability of the imperial administration. Augustus also undertook significant reforms of the Roman tax system. Under the Republic, the tax system was often haphazard and prone to corruption, with tax collectors known as publicani frequently exploiting their positions for personal gain. To address these issues, Octavian introduced a more organized and fair taxation system. He implemented a census-based taxation method, ensuring that taxes were assessed based on accurate population and property records. This reform reduced the arbitrary and exploitative practices of tax collectors and increased the efficiency of revenue collection. One of the key changes Augustus made was the establishment of provincial governors who were directly accountable to him. These governors, known as legati Augusti, were often appointed from the senatorial or equestrian classes and were tasked with overseeing the administration and taxation of the provinces. This new system reduced the power of local elites and ensured a more uniform and centralized administration across the empire. Additionally, he created the aerarium militar, a military treasury funded by new taxes, including a sales tax and an inheritance tax. This treasury was specifically used to provide pensions and retirement benefits for soldiers, ensuring their loyalty and welfare after their service. The establishment of the aerarium militar was a key element in the professionalization and stabilization of the Roman military. In Rome itself, Octavian reorganized the administration to improve governance and public services. He divided the city into 14 regions and established local administrative units called vici each overseen by elected magistrates. This reorganization improved urban management, allowing for better coordination of public services such as firefighting, policing, and maintenance of public buildings and infrastructure. Furthermore, he reformed the judicial system to enhance the administration of justice. He established new courts and expanded the jurisdiction of existing ones, ensuring that legal matters were handled more efficiently and fairly. He also promoted the codification of laws, creating a more systematic and accessible legal framework for the empire. Augustus's reforms laid the foundation for the Roman Empire's governance structure, often referred to as the Augustan Constitution. This system balanced the powers of the emperor with those of the Senate, creating a framework that allowed for effective governance while maintaining the appearance of republican traditions. The Augustan Constitution established key principles that influenced subsequent Roman emperors and provided a model for later forms of government. His ability to combine autocratic authority with traditional Roman values created a stable and enduring political system that lasted for centuries. Octavian embarked on an ambitious building program that dramatically transformed the city of Rome. His efforts left an indelible mark on the urban landscape, enhancing its grandeur and reinforcing his legacy as a restorer of Roman greatness. He famously claimed to have found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble, a testament to the extensive and elaborate nature of his building projects. One of the most iconic projects initiated by Octavian was the construction of the Ara Pacis Augusti, or the Altar of Augustan Peace. Commissioned by the Roman Senate in 13 BCE and completed in 9 BCE, the Ara Pacis was built to honor his return from his campaigns in Gaul and Hispania. Another significant project was the Forum of Augustus, an expansive public space that complemented the earlier Roman Forum. The place was inaugurated in 2 BCE and was designed to relieve the congestion of the older Forum while providing a venue for legal proceedings, public meetings, and other civic activities. In addition to these new constructions, Octavian undertook the restoration of numerous temples and public buildings that had fallen into disrepair. He believed that revitalizing Rome's architectural heritage was crucial for reviving its cultural and religious life. Among the many restorations was the Temple of Apollo on the Palatine Hill, completed in 28 BCE. This temple was particularly significant because the emperor associated himself with Apollo, the god of prophecy and the arts, thereby reinforcing his image as a divinely favored leader. He also invested in infrastructure projects that improved the quality of life for Rome's inhabitants. He repaired and expanded the city's aqueducts, ensuring a steady and reliable supply of water to the burgeoning population. One of the most significant of these was the Aqua Julia, an aqueduct completed in 33 BCE that augmented Rome's water supply and facilitated the construction of new public baths and fountains. These infrastructure improvements were essential for the health and well-being of Rome's residents, and further cemented Augustus's reputation as a benefactor of the city. The legacy of his architectural endeavors endured long after his reign, influencing Roman architecture and urban planning for centuries to come. Octavian had a deep appreciation for the arts and culture. He supported poets, historians, and artists, recognizing the power of cultural achievements in promoting his political agenda. The Augustan age is renowned for its literary and artistic output, with works such as Virgil's Aeneid, Horace's Odes, and Ovid's poetry reflecting the themes of his reign. Augustus also promoted the restoration and construction of temples, emphasizing the revival of traditional Roman religion. He believed that moral and religious renewal was essential for the stability and prosperity of Rome. His emphasis on traditional values and piety was reflected in the cultural and religious reforms he implemented throughout his reign. He implemented a series of social and moral reforms aimed at restoring traditional Roman values and stabilizing society. He introduced laws promoting marriage and family life, penalizing adultery, and rewarding large families. These measures were intended to counteract the perceived moral decay of the late Republic and strengthen the social fabric of the empire. In addition to these reforms, Octavian also sought to improve the welfare of the Roman people through public works and social programs. He provided grain distributions to the urban poor, organized public games and festivals, and funded the construction of public buildings and infrastructure. These initiatives not only improved the quality of life for many Romans, but also reinforced his image as a benevolent and caring ruler. The emperor was a master of political propaganda, skillfully crafting his public image to gain the support and loyalty of the Roman people. He used various forms of media, including coinage, statues, and literature, to promote his achievements and virtues. The Regeste Divi Augusti, an autobiographical inscription detailing his accomplishments, was a key element of his propaganda efforts. Augustus's public image was also reinforced by his association with traditional Roman deities and heroes. He claimed descent from Venus through his connection to Julius Caesar and promoted the idea of his divine favor and destiny. This association with divinity helped to legitimize his rule and secure his position as the leader of Rome. His reign was marked by significant military campaigns and territorial expansion. He sought to secure Rome's borders and consolidate its territories through a combination of military might and diplomatic alliances. Key regions such as Gaul, Egypt, and the Balkans were brought under Roman control during his reign. One of Augustus's most notable military achievements was already mentioned annexation of Egypt following the defeat of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. He also faced significant challenges in the Germanic territories, where his legions encountered fierce resistance from local tribes. The region beyond the Rhine River was largely uncharted and inhabited by various Germanic tribes, each fiercely independent and resistant to Roman control. His ambition to expand the Roman Empire into these territories was met with formidable opposition, culminating in one of the most infamous defeats in Roman military history. The most notable and devastating setback for Octavian in the Germanic territories occurred in 9 CE during the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest. 3 Roman legions, led by Publius Quinctilius Varus, were ambushed and destroyed by Germanic forces under the leadership of Arminius, a chieftain of the Cherusci tribe who had previously served as an auxiliary officer in the Roman army. Arminius used his knowledge of Roman tactics to orchestrate a surprise attack in the dense Teutoburg forest, where the Roman legions were unable to effectively maneuver or defend themselves. The resulting massacre left approximately 20,000 Roman soldiers dead and had a profound psychological impact on Rome. The defeat at Teutoburg Forest was a significant blow to the emperor and the Roman Empire. It not only resulted in the loss of 3 legions, their standards, and their commander, but also shattered the perception of Roman invincibility. Augustus was deeply affected by the defeat, reportedly lamenting, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions." This catastrophic loss led him to adopt a more cautious approach to further expansion in the region. In the wake of the defeat, he abandoned plans for further territorial expansion into Germania. Instead, he focused on consolidating and fortifying Rome's existing borders. The Rhine River became the de facto boundary of the Roman Empire in the north. Octavian ordered the construction of a series of military outposts, fortifications, and defensive lines along the Rhine and Danube rivers. These measures were designed to stabilize the region and protect the empire from future incursions by Germanic tribes. The fortified border, known as the limes, included a network of forts, watchtowers, and fortified towns that provided a robust defense system. This line of fortifications not only served as a physical barrier, but also as a base for launching defensive and punitive expeditions into Germanic territory when necessary. Roman soldiers stationed along the limes engaged in constant patrols and reconnaissance missions to monitor and counter any threats from across the border. Despite the setback at Teutoburg Forest, his efforts to fortify the northern borders had a lasting impact on the stability and security of the Roman Empire. The fortified Rhine and Danube frontiers became critical components of Rome's defense strategy for centuries. These defensive measures helped to protect the empire from external threats and maintained a buffer zone between Roman-controlled territories and the Germanic tribes. In addition to military fortifications, He implemented administrative and logistical reforms to support the frontier defenses. He established supply lines, built roads, and developed infrastructure to ensure that the Roman legions along the frontier were well provisioned and capable of rapid response to any threats. These logistical improvements enhanced the effectiveness and mobility of the Roman military in the region. Augustus was married 3 times. His first marriage, to Clodia Pulchra, ended in divorce. His second marriage to Scribonia produced his only biological child, Julia the Elder. However, this marriage also ended in divorce. His third and most enduring marriage was to Livia Drusilla, who remained his partner for over 50 years. Livia was a significant influence on Octavian, and their relationship was marked by mutual respect and political collaboration. His family dynamics were complex, particularly his relationships with his daughter Julia and his stepsons Tiberius and Drusus. Julia's behavior and multiple marriages caused public scandal and personal disappointment for the emperor, leading to her eventual exile. Tiberius, Livia's son from her first marriage, ultimately succeeded Augustus as emperor, despite their often strained relationship. Octavian valued loyalty and competence in his friends and allies. His closest friend and advisor was Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, a brilliant administrator who played a crucial role in his military victories and political stability. Marcus was not only a close friend of Augustus, but also his most trusted general. Agrippa's military genius was instrumental in many victories, including the decisive Battle of Actium. Beyond his military prowess, Agrippa also contributed to the administrative and infrastructural development of the empire, overseeing numerous building projects and public works. Agrippa's loyalty and competence made him an invaluable ally to the emperor. Their partnership exemplified the combination of military strength and administrative skill that was crucial to the success of Augustus's reign. Agrippa's marriage to Julia the Elder further strengthened their bond, integrating him into the imperial family. Another important figure in emperor's life was Gaius Maecenas, another key figure in Augustus's circle, known for his patronage of the arts and culture. Maecenas supported poets like Virgil, Horace, and Propertius, whose works celebrated the achievements of Octavian and promoted the values of the regime. Through his patronage, Maecenas helped to shape the cultural legacy of the Augustan age, ensuring that his reign would be remembered for its literary and artistic accomplishments. Maecenas' influence extended beyond culture, as he also played a role in political and diplomatic matters. His close relationship with Augustus allowed him to act as an intermediary and advisor, contributing to the stability and success of the empire. Despite his immense power, Octavian led a relatively modest and disciplined life. He was known for his frugality and simple tastes, often wearing clothes made by his wife Livia and eating plain meals. His personal habits reflected his belief in traditional Roman virtues such as austerity, modesty, and self-discipline. His daily routine was structured and organized. He rose early and devoted much of his day to administrative duties, meeting with advisors and overseeing the affairs of the empire. He also made time for physical exercise, maintaining his health and vigor well into his later years. His disciplined lifestyle set an example for his contemporaries and helped to reinforce his image as a model Roman citizen. Augustus's dietary habits were simple and unpretentious, reflecting his belief in traditional Roman virtues. He preferred plain foods such as bread, cheese, and fruit, often avoiding the extravagant feasts that were common among the Roman elite. His modest diet was a deliberate contrast to the excesses of the late Republic and served to reinforce his image as a model of Roman austerity. He also enjoyed wine, though he was known to consume it in moderation. He believed in maintaining a balanced lifestyle and avoided overindulgence. His disciplined approach to food and drink was part of his broader philosophy of self-control and moderation. Despite his demanding responsibilities, Emperor made time for physical exercise and maintained his health through regular activity. He enjoyed swimming and walking, activities that helped him stay fit and active. His commitment to physical fitness was not only a personal priority, but also a way to set an example for others. His health was a matter of public concern, given his central role in the stability of the empire. He took care to manage his stress and avoid overwork, recognizing the importance of maintaining his well-being for the sake of Rome. His disciplined lifestyle and attention to health contributed to his longevity and effectiveness as a ruler. One of Augustus's most enduring legacies is the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and stability that lasted for over 2 centuries. His administrative and military reforms established a framework for governance that maintained order and prosperity throughout the empire. The stability of this period allowed for significant cultural and economic development, making it one of the most celebrated eras in Roman history. The Pax Romana facilitated the spread of Roman culture, language, and infrastructure across the empire. It also allowed for the flourishing of trade and communication, connecting diverse regions and peoples under Roman rule. His contributions to this period of peace and stability cemented his reputation as one of Rome's greatest leaders. Augustus's life is a remarkable journey of personal ambition, political acumen, and transformative leadership. From his early struggles in the chaos of civil war to his establishment of the Roman Empire in the Pax Romana, his story is a testament to his vision, determination, and skill. His ability to balance power and diplomacy, along with his commitment to traditional Roman values, made him one of history's most influential figures. Emperor's legacy continues to resonate, not only in the historical and cultural achievements of his reign, but also in the principles of governance and leadership he exemplified. His emphasis on stability, discipline, and public service provides valuable lessons for leaders and scholars alike. Through his contributions to Rome and the world, Augustus remains a towering figure whose impact is felt to this day.